Hello, welcome back to Monster Train. I am, as always, your host, a plastic bag floating through the wind. Like a little delay at the start there. I mean, I'm not going to throw out the intro for a 1 second delay, but you know what? It's life. How you doing? It's 3 a.m. Not too bad today. Uh, I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. I just got done. I got done with stream like 20 minutes ago. Not too late, but power is back. Internet seems relatively stable as it gets on Charter, am I right? Charter. But yeah, all seems to be good. Video went up on time, all of that. Ooh, seems like we have recovered from the bad storm. Hopefully no more as bad as that. The lightning strike was very loud. I did not like it. Anyway, today we're Fade. Been on a bit of a cold streak, but the cold streak is my own doing. It's me making bad choices. It's like in Monster Train I have found that there's a little piece of me in the back of my mind that wants to make the bad decisions. Yeah, go for the second draw. But you don't need energy. Take another draw. Yeah, you can pick this unit. It's fine. And it's been a bit of an issue, and it's been causing us a lot of losses. However, I'm turning over a new leaf by playing a little Fade today. Yesterday's question about poetry, I was surprised a lot of you guys. Poetry is not something that I think about a ton, so I was kind of surprised to see so many people say, "Yeah, I like poetry. Here's my thoughts on poetry." Lots of big poem mentions, and I appreciate it. Thanks for the poetry talk. For today's question, I want to ask about comics. I want to hear, because the comic books, there's like, so I there's a panel that I saw from a Superman comic, and I went, "Hey, that's cool." And then I looked up the comic and I read it, and it was pretty good. I think it was All Star Superman. It's one of those ones where he saves a girl from jumping off a building, and I'm like, "Hey, this is what I like about Superman." He's like, "Hey, I have the like he's all powerful, but he can't control how other people feel and things like that." And you investigate the all like you put the characters who have all of the answers to everything into positions that are interesting still, and I think that's fun for storytelling. That's beside the point. I talk about comics today not because of that comic, but because I keep getting recommended these videos for disturbing comics. And so I finally cracked and I watched one. They recommended it to me like 5 times. I was like, okay, fine, I'll watch it. And it's for this comic series called Crossed. If you have heard of it, whatever you think. So the idea is that it's supposed to be real fucked up. They do lots of really violent and sexual abusive things. And it's really like it's just kind of gross. And I want to come to this mostly because I want to talk about comics and tell me about your favorite comics. And I also want to say that I think it's really strange that this whole series is founded on the idea that things are really fucked up and that's the point. Like, I don't know, it's just you kind of lose me on the shock value when you go, this is really awful. Like, look at all of these horrible things that these people are doing to each other. How terrible is this? These people are really bad, right? Oh, freak out. And I'm like, this is desperate, and I don't like it. That's my and also I want to hear about, because I think comics are cool, and I would like to hear some comics that you think are cool. I think that these comics that are fucked up for the sake of it, not very cool. Superman, he is cool. Yeah, I'm a boring person if Superman's my favorite hero, but I'm not a big superhero person anyway. Anyway, I've gone on for long enough. A minute longer than I'm supposed to. I'm sorry, hates the intro gang. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Exile Melting, Exile Hellhorned. Double-barreled Daedalus, Spell Shield Fel, Sap Seraph, Entombed Explosive, Welder Helper, Remnant Host. Interesting thing about this run is that you have a lot of units in your starter, and a lot of one-space units in your starter, which I can maybe combo with Lil Fade. Definitely a Hell's Banners here. Lots of units we can play Hell's Banners. Ooh, I could play Little Icarus. Ooh, yeah. So normally I would just pick Firelight Fade. So I might end up losing this run, but I think that we can have a lot of fun playing Lil Icarus with a starting Welder Helper. Absolutely. Because you end up, she lives. Usually you have to sacrifice. Oh, baby. No trial. We play top 4. Oh, we're rich. We're rich. I just need to pull one welder helper. But we have the primitive molds as well. So here's the deal. I'm gonna, just this once, I'm gonna bet it all. Play Fade top 4. We draw welder helper. We're rich. Oh, we're so set. This is the high roll of my life. The only way this could be better is if I had torches so that I could ping these imps off and bring them back. It won't matter now, but later it will matter. It's maximum spikes. Oh, how beautiful. Oh. I should talk you through the decisions that I went through to get to this point, by the way. Real quick, I'll go over them when we finish the combat. Oh, that was good. That was a good first combat. Dripfall's good. You could use hollow drippings as a fix enemies that are like fix Fade if she gets killed, but I'm gonna go Dripfall. Day's enemy's good. I could take Branding Right, but it'll kill Fade. I'm gonna skip. So let me real quick. I'll walk you through the opening sequence here. I went through it very quickly. We skipped the first, basically as Fade, you're weak in the first 3 combats. So we skipped the Divine Boons and we skipped the Trial there. You could take the Trial, but it'll end up with Fade dying and you gotta use Queen Simplings. Instead of taking the Trial and getting a unit, I got every possible kill on Little Fade, and so we got 13 kills on Fade in the first combat, which is max. And so by skipping these, we guarantee no infused enemy and no +4, and so Fade gets to just start to snowball out of control really quickly. And now that's going to be our foundation for the rest of the run, basically. We're going to look for Endless, although it's kind of weird. I hit it. It's kind of weird. Rail Beater, Horned Warrior. You could take Rail Beater here, but I'm going to chill. I think that our Fade is strong enough to solo carry this run if I support her with like Entombed Explosive, Welder Helper. So I just want to... Here's the thing, right? Endless, I still need to find Burnout 1. I can find Burnout 1 still, though. I'm down to grab Endless, and then I just hopefully get enough money to buy Burnout 1 in the next shop. Technically not the most we could have gotten, by the way, because the Collector could have spawned top 4. Close to the most we could have gotten, though. 30 Magic Power, Purge. We're chilling. We're not going to take any pack shards pre-Daedalus here. Invasion Trial is not good. We want to be able to play Fade top 4 and not have her die until a Welder Helper gets to her. I could start reforming now, but I'm gonna bet that in the top 10, top 15 cards we have a Welder Helper. It's relatively likely. Yeah, Dripfall lets me kill this guy, which is really good. Fade cleans up again, and we're snowballing out of control now. Being able to play Welder Helper multiple times is also very good. But we are, yeah. We high rolled a lot to get to this point, and I am happy to have it happen. Didn't catch this guy even. So biggest thing we can do for this deck is remove cards, I feel now. Just being able to get to these Welder Helpers faster is best. I think that Fade basically solos this whole run from this position. Playing this Welder Helper is bad because he might steal a kill. I don't know if he steals a kill, but it's a lot easier to not have to find out, isn't it? Way easier to not put him down. The one damage Welder Helper never steals a kill. His odds are very low. The 6 damage one could. I could use Draft. Oh, this is weird. I could use Draft and then guarantee a Burnout 1 on my imp. Couldn't I? I could take 25 pack shards for it, and I have to take Draft into 2 combats. He's not that bad. It's just like, it makes it a guarantee where there's a bit of a question mark. And it gives me something to spend pack shards on. Yeah, sure. It's fine. Another Welder Helper's great. The fear there is that I have made a bad density and I might draw Welder Helper late, and that fear is now fixed. It also gets fixed if I see Burnout 1 in here. Yeah. So I can just toss that guy now, but we duplicate this Welder Helper as many times as possible now, and we are out of control. Could give him... How does this work? Does Resolve trigger before Burnout or after? I think after. No, Resolve is after combat specifically, so it would trigger before Burnout. Burnout, I believe, the ordering in this game is a little weird and it changed with the DLC, but I think the very last thing they'll ever do is Burnout Trigger. I think Burnout Triggers is the very last option on the round. I don't take good old Wingmaker, so we do nothing, and I also don't think I want Hef's Consolation. Can you put this? You can put this on a 1-space unit. 16 damage? I don't know. Sure. I should have taken nothing there to see if she says something different. So I could take 10 here, and it's probably smart because we're looking at a 2-temple future. Yeah, okay, it's smart because we're looking at a 2-temple future here. 25, 50, 75, and then we have an even 100 as long as I take everything I can. Ooh, I can't take plus 10 piercing. Ooh, getting pack shards is kind of hard. I'll just have to, we'll do self-infuses actually. We'll just use the temples as removals. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I really think that this run is basically won and out of control. I don't know if Fade at this rate beats the Divinity. We're gonna find out. The big thing we have to do is we have to get to a point where we always hit Welder Helper turn 1. That's the big move in this run right now. It's a little weird. I mean, I just have a Queen's Impling on the floor for the future now, and that's fine. Yeah, it's not that bad. If I don't get it on Fade, we still have reforms, but, you know, we never miss there. It could happen, but it would really suck. And it would just suck because we would lose a bit of value, but we are super good on spikes now. Follow Welder Helper off the floor. The only thing that I add to this deck at this point is Transcendent or Reinforce. Either option is fine. We want more armor gain that isn't intrusive, right? Because we have to get the start with Welder Helper. This is your, like, crazy out of control Spikes Highroll, though. Getting Spike's Little Fade with a Welder Helper starter and having Endless Burnout 1 by Daedalus is the nuts. This is absolutely out of this world. I told you we might lose this one. I was wrong. This is a fat W. If you remember, there's like, in the past when I've played Spike's Fade, which I don't play her a ton, especially post-DLC, I think she got a little worse outside of the high rolls. I think she's still very good, but I just think Firelight is better, and the Quick Endless Path is good if I don't want to play Fade solos my runs. So Spikes just kind of falls to the wayside in those cases. Yeah, Reinforce. Ally's also good, but I like Reinforce a little more. No, I should take Alloy, right? It's all about that first armor. I should take Alloy. Yeah. But, so, basically, with Spike's Fade, your numbers, you want to have her spiking, you want her to have enough spikes to kill regular heavies by the boss. So usually you want to be around 40 going into Daedalus and 90 going into Fel. That's around enough where after killing a few backliners, she'll be killing heavies with her spikes. She's still gonna kill Fel heavies with her spikes in combat 4. Which is strong, very strong. Skip for sure. And so this run is draw, and then it's probably double draw because we have Hell's Banners. Without Hell's Banners, I would probably take energy. With Hell's Banners, I think it's draw. And so we go left, we get our removals going. We're gonna put Train Stewards out, and we're gonna duplicate Welder Helper. Dupe this guy as many times as we can. Sketches. Sketches is not bad here, if you can believe that. I'm gonna take it because this is the most interesting use for Sketches I've seen. Because if I take Sketches, it pulls 4 units out of my deck. If it pulls Welder Helpers, I get to play them turn 2. And if it doesn't pull Welder Helpers, then I'm -4 units out of my deck. The downside, of course, is Reform. So actually, the downside is that these 2 Welder Helpers, I have to draw a Welder Helper on turn 1, or an armor of some sort on turn 1, so that Little Fade doesn't die to the first sweep hit. Nah, this is too cool. I'm gonna take it. I think it makes sense. And we go Little Icarus too. We could always give Fade Endless. If she's big enough, I could always just grab her an Endless, and then all of the question marks are gone. If she gets sniped, I just bring her back. I'm gonna go for the big spikes, though. I'm gonna go for like 500 spikes. I think maybe you want the spike scaling a little more. Armor 15? I don't need to take any trials right now. And so the idea, we get out a Welder Helper, and then it also gives me 2 extra energy on this turn. Could have used a draft to clear. It's okay. I do lose the flexibility of dropping a Welder Helper to kill him, but I think we'll be okay. Like, downsides are that we fill up the reform pool a little bit as well. This is worth mentioning. But it's not something that I think is actually that scary, filling up the reform pool, because, you know, we're going to have 4 endless Welder Helpers with Burnout 1 by the end. The big problem with the Sketches play, I think, actually, is that Sketches is going to fall off a bit. It stops being good relatively soon. It's nice for the next few combats, though, to just get us there. We're applying 40 armor per turn, so is it really that scary? Like, eventually I'm going to just always pull all of my Welder Helpers out, but then if I have more Welder Helpers than I have... if I have more than 4 Welder Helpers, then there's no problem, actually. Oh, also I take damage here because... oh, this enemy doesn't attack me. Huh. My biggest foe, an enemy that doesn't strike. Damn. Oh well. Nothing I can do about that. If it is an infused heavy behind a tank, I can't stop it. I could have probably played Entombed Explosive, but I wasn't thinking. I'll turn my brain back on so that doesn't happen again. My apologies. I just play armor, play armor, play armor. Stuck. Loop. We'll keep the Entombed Explosives in, and we'll probably make some strong Queen Zimplings with our pack chart allotment here. Intent on Death doesn't do much. Mortal Entrapment could be cool, but I think I don't need anything here. Could maybe take Intent on Death, but I don't think so. Fish Scholar is basically Welder Helper. But he gets pulled off of Sketches. Yeah, we can't add something like that in because he gets pulled off of Sketches. Although I could add him in for the potential Transcendent, I guess. In this run, I'm just going to go wherever removals are. I think that's our best option. I don't really need spell upgrades for anything. I don't need unit upgrades for much. You can always say another Endless, I suppose. Although, maybe not great. Yeah, so I can't True Stone any of my spells. This is an important thing to have realized and then found the answer to. Our best option here is probably going to be Queen Zimpling Self-Infused. And then I don't necessarily want to get rid of all of my units now. Like, the Sketches line is weird. It's really, really strange. I have 4 Welder Helpers. The idea isn't necessarily bad, it's just odd. I'm not going to buy another Endless. I'm going to toss out the draft. I'm gonna go ahead and spend 150 here. We'll toss a Primitive Mold as well. Could buy a Large Stone. I don't reroll this because I don't want anything. Yeah, alright, I'm gonna go. And we take 25 at the next, and we take... oh ho 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 ho! Multi-Strike is really good here too, although they do a ton of damage because the spikes cascades. They do so much. It's only bad if the... okay, no. I shouldn't take this. There's 2 reasons. It's really bad if the backmost Clip Guardian gets infused. And it's also really bad if the 4th wave 2 armor enemies can get infused. Oh my. So we would have been okay. Easy to forget that this deck pumps out a ton of armor, but... it would trigger twice. I just wanted to check if the Queen Zimpling Self-Infuse counted as 2 separates for that. It does. Yeah, so I would have had enough armor to do this, but it was still a little scary. Could I ever... oh hey, I lose some kills here. If I drop you... yeah, don't lose any kills then. I could never get this Collector. I was gonna pose it, but I guess I could drop it and then play a Queen Zimpling, actually. I could have had it. Yeah, it would have been worth it. Oh well. Could have dropped it, played Entombed Explosive. So, 2nd wave was fine. 3rd wave, this one was the scary one. Yeah, so... what would happen if I had taken the trial is this Clip Defender number 2 would walk up with multi-strike and 6 attack. It would hit me for a lot. We're going to try our best to stop it from happening whatsoever. This would be a great run for Root Seeds so that I could Root Seeds the tanks. I didn't want to take the risk on the tanks because they're really our biggest threat. Enemies that not have Dripfall coming up. You're higher than 100 health also. If I play Queen Zimpling, Entombed Explosive, I think I can kill this Clip Defender. First we can play it. We'll play it all out. I think it's fine. I think it's more than fine. I think it's correct to do this. And then we can potentially get this enemy with another Entombed Explosive. Maybe the Imps could kill too. Let me see. If I put down... I can put down this Queen Zimpling, right? And that should set us... close. But if I play the Welder Helpers as well, Fade attacks first is the problem. I could do Remnant Host, and then I give up a Welder Helper. Remnant Host pops, does 40. That's fine. Yeah, okay. We play Welder Helper first to dodge the Ember Drain. We play Queen Zimpling, then we put a Remnant, or Entombed Explosive, either one. Doesn't matter. And then we kill the whole floor. We lose our first kill on Fade, but no, because she picks up a kill anyway. It's fine. We don't lose anything for doing this. We just gain Pyre health. We save 12 Pyre health doing that. I could have gotten away with taking the trial, but you can never know. And it's better to be safe than sorry on a run like this. Taking a random relic here, sure, we could get something crazy, but in reality, you know, we're already pretty nuts. They would never steal a kill, but you may as well just not play him anyway. Don't want to get in the habit. Go to Very Memories, Mortal Entrapment. There's a card I would pick here, by the way. I would pick Wickless Recruitment. Inferno Inflame branding, right? Inflame says armor on it, so the card must be good, right? I didn't even realize you guys are a little far away from me. I'm sorry. Ooh, and my mic stand's a little loose. Hopefully you don't fall. Careful up there. Duplicating again doesn't seem like the wrong idea. And down. I want to check for Intrinsic, because Intrinsic takes away... Yeah, Intrinsic takes away the one question mark in this run, which is what if I have Fade die turn 1 on Divinity? Intrinsic on Ally of the Ancients removes that. I can also spell chain it. I have the energy for it. I think now, with this, I think there's a 100% win chance. It's a little... maybe... Like, after I say things like that, I always go, well, maybe I should walk it back a bit. But really, no, I don't think that you can lose this run. With the Intrinsic and the way the Sketches is working, I could actually take Weathered Coldstones here. And then we could use this to keep our Pyre. Yeah, this is cool. I have a bunch of energy and I have nothing to spend it on. So we may as well take Weathered Coldstones here. I'm losing draws, but I don't really need the draws because my units get played for free through Sketches and the card that I want to play is Intrinsic. Yeah, so we'll talk about this a little more, right? In theory, I should pull at least one of these Welder Helpers off of the Sketches, so I don't need to draw into them. And the initial armor that I get to keep Fade alive through the first few rounds, I get for free. And I have energy that I just don't spend because I have no reason to play these units. They steal kills from Fade. So we can take and afford to draw these healing cards. And that's kind of neat. This is not Curse Fell. You know what's really strange to me? It's really strange to me that they made the differentiation in this game between Blights and Scourges. Blights being these cards, the ones that are permanently added to your deck, and Scourges being the temporary ones, right? The ones that enemies put in. Imagine how much better Weathered Coldstones would be if it worked on the enemy placements in your deck. It would be like, I'd take it more often, I think. And the same for all of them, right? But the problem is there's no dynamic update for things like Penitent Remains, the one that gives attack per Blight in your deck. If an enemy... shouldn't play the Blights first, should make sure I play the units first because of Hell's Banners, just in case. If an enemy adds a blight to your deck, though, it's not going to update for Weathered Coldstones. Or it would work for Weathered Coldstones. It won't update for the other one, Penitent Remains. So there's really no reason to bother, is what I'm saying. Play 4 Welder Helpers that turn. Plus 80. Fate has scaled to the point she wants to be at for Seraph at Fel. Feeling pretty good about that one. Obviously, she wants to be a little higher because of infused enemies, but being at the point for Seraph at Fel means that we kill the infused enemies guaranteed. So, hey, make sure I don't fuck this up. Because I could there. I could actually play both Vengeful Shards and then drop it. Too bad I didn't pick Reinforce. Like, obviously, the Alloy is the smart choice because it removes any question mark. There was a slight question mark that was removed with the Alloy, but this run, it's not quite going to be my fastest run. This run's going to be really fast for a DLC run. 30 minutes was the average, roughly, pre-DLC. We would be on pace for that. But now, I think an average run now is 45 to an hour, which is fine. I think that 30 to an hour is about comfortable for an episode length. Kind of the reason that Griftlands fell off is because Griftlands was really hard for me to actually record in a reasonable time frame. Like, one day in Griftlands is taking upwards of an hour and a half for me, and that just became unmanageable for me. I said I was going to pick up Wickless Recruitment, but now that I have the Intrinsic Alloy, I no longer need it. The idea behind Wickless Recruitment was it gave me a get out of jail free card after Fade got killed, because Burnout would be a problem. We could then take it off with Wickless Recruitment, but we no longer need it. Fade can't die on turn 1 ever. In no universe does Fade die on turn 1 top floor. I can take space here to play an extra Welder Helper, I think. I don't need draw for reasons we just talked about with Weathered Coldstones. I don't need energy for reasons we just talked about with Weathered Coldstones. Give me more space. We'll play more Welder Helpers. Sure. Oh yeah, give me a Divine Artifact, brother. 100% increased attack gives Little Fade a comical amount of damage, but I'm going to press skip because I like to disrespect God. Don't take that clip out of context. Get me canceled on Christian Twitter. There's a Christian side of Twitter? Probably is. And so I take 10 here, 15 here, and that is an even 100. Good planning, me. We could drop Cage. I'm just gonna take the money. We're pooling money to buy a lot of removals at the end. And then we go Little Icarus 3. Thought it was gonna think about taking Endless, but we don't need it. Yeah. This Highroll, this is out of control. There's a few things that could have gone slightly better, but it is not even worth mentioning, honestly. What am I thinking about that could have gone better? Well, let me tell you. Heaven's Seal is free. If an infused enemy is 240 and Spike's Fade is already killing that, it's a lot of damage, but I don't think it matters. I think that you can get more... Actually, we got Sycophants. I think that you can get slightly more enemy kills with... Oh, actually, I think this might be the top end. Maybe on the Party Boy combat, on Combat 4, we could have been slightly better off, but... I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know. Okay, we feed a ton of Harvest here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Times 15 adds... I believe that's 75? He still dies to Fade. That's how far ahead she is. Even with this very big upset. Good Queen, good Queen. We caught the money. Even with this, I think that it still dies to Fade. 39. Oh, because he has to take the damage. Oh, they don't actually wipe it all. Because the drafts... Look at that. Good work, draft. He made it 39 instead of 50. And his damage mattered. Okay. Almost messed it up here. If I lose this run, it's because I, like, drop Welder Helper or something like that. I guess maybe on the Divinity, this armor scaling might not be enough. We are taking like 60 here to Fade. But the Divinity, we could maybe... No, we have sketches. I was going to say maybe we could play mid-floor and then get the multi-hit on the Divinity. Divinity dies a lot quicker. But I don't think it's fast enough. The Divinity is going to go to Relentless, so we may as well be top 4. We'll mess it up here. It's possible that this run, it could numerically not make it, and I just don't know. Because of not being a big Spikes Fade player post-DLC. Also, should probably be primitive molding to try and get that Welder Helper back. Leave the units in the deck. Almost called them enemies. I didn't reach him, but... Okay. You seeing the weird flicker on the number? Watch that back. Rewind the video like 10 seconds. Watch that number flicker when she gets hit. Looked a little strange. Let's skip everything. Branding right, One Horned Stone Razor. One Horned Stone actually. Fade's 1 health. One Horned Stone is cool. Giving Fade multi-strike is funny. And there is no downside. Fade's already fragile effectively. Can I play this? I can't play this. So I do need to go. I have to give up a duplicate on a Welder Helper to play it. I think that we're okay. It sounds like I'm being a haha hee hee funny, but like the 60 armor per turn is not a ton. So playing towards the One Horned Stone might actually be greedy. Might be too greedy. And I might be better off going right path here. Because with a 4th Welder Helper, 60 armor per turn I'm a little uncertain. 80 armor per turn I am pretty certain. It's a bit of a choice. I think I will actually go right, and then the One Horned Stone is just kind of dead to me. Strange, I know. I guess I could potentially pull it by playing Primitive Mold and then holding 0-cost units. Something weird like that. Or I could draw it turn 1. But turn 1, no, it's never good. I don't have the energy for it. I'm gonna go right. The One Horned Stone is a testament to man's hubris and man's greed. Blights and Scourges cost 0. Sure. I have 6 energy turn 1. I could play 2 alloys and that's just 100 armor out the gate. What was the Trinket Shop gonna say? I will reroll. You may as well check for a Highroll trinket on this run. No reason not to. So I spend all my money on card remove here. And I buy a 2nd Welder Helper. I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna drop all of our money here on removing cards. I wanna remove the cards that are the most worthless. I'm gonna remove 1 Vengeful Shard since we've healed the full off of it. I took the Cold Stones and now I don't need them anymore. After that, we can cut Queen Zimpling. Probably just Queen Zimpling, Queen Zimpling, Queen Zimpling. I have no reason to hold the money, so I may as well take out an Entombed Explosive, maybe? I think an Entombed Explosive is fine. And we're chilling. Yeah. There's a world where we get the One Horned Tome out there, so I'm not too upset about grabbing it. The deck has room for cards. We're 21 cards, so 21 cards, Intrinsic on our most important cards. We have room to take things if we want them. Good draw. Why do they have 6 sap? Is this a bug that I don't know about? I think it is. If you have sketches on oh, no. The Seraph, wait, really? I've never seen this before. Okay, so what happened here is these units got put on the floor, and then after they were... so they get put on the floor first, and then Seraph takes his turn, and Seraph got to sap this floor. That's really strange that that works that way. I'm actually surprised that works that way. Seraph can sap. What a beautiful hand. Seraph gets to sap your units from sketches a 2nd time if he starts mid-floor. Because that would only happen if he starts on mid-floor, right? There is no reason that would happen if he started on a different floor. How strange. I'm 1 energy off of playing One Horn's Tome. It would let me proc that damage shield over there, but alas. Maybe I'll make a sacrifice to get it out there, but like, for what? It's not the worst idea, just because having Fade hitting twice is pretty good, although the Seraph does hit 4 times. And Fade does like 1500 damage around to this guy. Oh, it's ugly, Seraph. Little did Seraph know he was walking into the absolute spikes Highroll. I don't think it gets any better than this for Little Fade, truly. I know you're gonna think about, if you were to think about this run, you would think about, well, what about Awoken as a secondary, because you can get cool Spikes relics, and that's not bad, but the cool Spikes relics do things like double your spikes. This run doubles your spikes, if that makes sense. Like, in the cool Awoken run, you get like spikes do double damage, or you do bonus damage for your spikes. In this run, I get doubled spikes because I have Welder Helpers letting Fade get every single kill, plus a high roll on the Clergy. That is important to mention. The Clergy first combat was at a very big high roll. I mean, it's like a 1 in 5, right? So it's like a 20%er. You can roll... Spikes Fade is a bit of a gamble, I think, because if you roll no Clergy first combat, and then you roll like... Specifically, not no Clergy, but you roll... what's the combat called? The one where it's like 3 total attacking units on combat 1. Fade gets nothing. You get like maybe 1 kill if you're lucky in that combat, instead of the 13 we got. Yeah, it's the combat I'm thinking of is 245 plus healer, then 245 5-1 healer, and then boss and healer. Fade kills 1 enemy in that setup. And it's not very pretty. So, like, it's a bit of a gamble in that regard. And the gamble paid off even more because we drew the Welder Helper early and we got to. Because that's the big thing. With the armor, Fade gets to take every kill. All of the kills go to Little Fade. Usually you have to miss some, like an extra enemy. You have to have an extra unit. Oh, Fade just does 800 damage around, huh? Huh. That's a lot of damage. Oh, damage shield is really annoying here. How does this work? 6, 12, 18, 20 kills you. So 1. I'm gonna take some damage to these damage shield boys, actually. Interestingly enough. The only enemy in this game that could potentially hurt me is damage shield enemy. A little sad, but it doesn't hurt that much. I could drop this guy if I wanted to try and catch him, but I will never catch him, I don't believe. Right, I could never catch you. Because he gets dropped into the back. 48. I can daze the Divinity, and then the Welder Helpers will do 64 to him, though, which is pretty good. Sure, we take 6. We have the healing. It's fine. I'm not gonna die from that. 535. We're very close. We don't quite get it, but we're very close to having enough spikes to kill the mini boss with the spikes hit. It will take little bits of chip damage here and there, but we have the armor scaled up to 200, which means we're positive every turn on armor. Why doesn't that heal me? Even in a turn where we're gonna take a lot of damage, we're not taking that much. I will be interested to see if like maybe the multi-strike combat could throw me off. Maybe the multi-strike combat could throw me off. I think that if there's one thing you could take from this, oh, he's a beef boy. You know what I'm saying? He's a beef boy. He doesn't attack. Okay. You want to do some unnecessary math to find the line that kills this enemy? Because I'm pretty sure there is one. Oh yeah, it's not even that hard. You play This is dumb. What I'm about to do here is dumb. I don't die from chains hitting me, but I want to stop him anyway. I can play these two welder helpers in front and then an entombed explosive. What have I done? Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I almost threw the run. Ah! I forgot that the welder helpers attacking and like surviving stops chains from hitting little Fade because they don't die instantly. Alright, don't talk to me about that turn, okay? It's late and I tried to be too smart for my own good. I gained 4 damage on the mini boss and don't act. That's it. Just don't at me about that one. I don't want to hear it. I know. Trust me. I understand. Look, I'm just trying to have a little fun here, okay? We like to have a little fun from time to time because play 4 welder helper and turn hold right click has gotten a little bit stale. I wanted to. You gotta add a little spice to the run. You gotta do a little twist. Yeah, the biggest threat on this run is legitimately the 0 attack enemies. I know, like, I'm not saying that because I think I'm taking damage. This enemy doesn't die because Fade doesn't attack, the combat ends. But the actual biggest threat on this run was 0 attack tank frontliners. It's funny too, because I called this run a very big high roll, and it was a very big high roll. There was no point in this run where I thought we were in question of losing, but it doesn't look like a big high roll, right? We took damage. Took bits of damage here and there. Very strange. And this one ended up being about an average time. God, it was close. I was pretty close just tossing that one right out the window. And it would never happen where it tosses it out the window because like in all of my scheming and planning, I was planning to kill the frontliner, but still. Yeah, so basically, what's your takeaway from this run? If you ever find a starter where you are a little Fade and you have welder helper, click spikes. Being able to give Fade 40 armor and let her just kill everything on the first 2 combats is an insane scaling starter, and spikes Fade snowballs. The whole point of this champion is that it snowballs super hard. Because as soon as you get to 40 spikes, you start killing all of the heavies, and that gets you to like 10 to 15 slay triggers per combat if you can keep her alive, and it just gets out of control. It just gets super out of control. You can just put endless burnout 1 on welder helper and dupe it for it. I literally go to just every duplicate and you win the run. Super fun. Highly recommend if you just want to have a good little stomp, play this one. Or if you really want to, I think that you could play an interesting run if you want to take the other path. Play Firelight and play just 4 imps behind Firelight. Put them all with plus 25s and multi-strikes and see what happens. Could be fun too. For now, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave me a like. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Forgot the outro there for a second. I got it though.